You're watching Toon Army TV match review. Newcastle United are through to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, only just after defeating Newport of League Two 5-4 on a penalty shootout this evening at the Rodney Parade Stadium. The game overall finished 1-1 after 90 minutes. There was no extra time. And to be fair to Newport, they should count themselves very, very unlucky. I thought they played quite well, given their squad quality, their squad depth. They actually gave us a game. I wasn't expecting too much from Newport in terms of attack, but getting forward and hitting on the counter-attack, that's exactly what they did, and they were causing problems to our back four all night. And we know that Newport isn't the most welcome of stadiums in terms of getting your foot on the ground and going for it. Newport were always going to cause that threat if and where they can. And I have to say, we got off to the worst possible start. We conceded after 5 minutes. And you're looking at the starting 11, you're thinking, how can we start so bad? Like, how can you give Newport the respect, when they're in League Two? You should be going for it. You should be shown to Newport, who is the Premier League side. And Steve Bruce, he goes on about how he wants to go for the competition. Yeah, albeit he went with a strong side tonight. But by the way we started that first half, the first half alone for me was shocking. There was just nothing in terms of an attacking threat. And even when we did look a threat through Jacob Murphy, he was our only focal point because Andy Carroll was non-existent. I see nothing from Miggy, see nothing from John Joe, albeit he did rescue us in the second half late on. But I see nothing from no one apart from, Jacob Murphy, and that's it. Like, I see no difference to the Spurs game, and that was the real shock to the system. You're thinking Newport down there, Spurs up there. It was just literally no different, and Steve Bruce, for me, saved his job by a game, because let's be honest, had that been another day, Newport would have actually won that. Even on the penalty shootout, Joe Linton missed our second kick in, and if Newport hadn't have missed their two pens, the one in the original 5 kicks, and then the one in sudden death, let's be honest, they would have got through. They led for over 80% of that game. We just had no answer. And it took Steve Bruce to bring on the likes of Callum Wilson, Joe Linton, or better players who should be realistically rested for the Burnley game. They pretty much saved our backs. And like I say, I feel so sorry for Newport because it took our best side to beat them. And it shouldn't be that way. We should just be able to get the job done. You're looking at the side that Steve Bruce went with. I'll read it out for you right now. So in goal, Mark Gillespie as usual for the cup games. The back four, Javier Manquillo, Emil Kraft, Federico Fernandez, Jamal Lewis. In the midfield, John Joe Shelvey, Sean Longstaff, Jacob Murphy, Miguel Almiron and Ryan Fraser. And Andy Carroll being the focal point. Now, you're looking at that side, you think, well, that should get the job done by half-time. No disrespect to Newport, there's enough quality in that side to get at Newport and to have a little bit too much for them. We know that there weren't going to be a pushover. I said in the match preview that Newport, they will be trying to cause the upset. I said that. I plainly said that. And I said it would be a close game. There was a lot of high-scoring predictions from the other YouTubers and other people I'd seen on Facebook and Twitter. I said 2-1 because it wouldn't be that easy of a game, let's be honest. And Newport made it that way. They played their way, and we couldn't deal with that at the best of times, and they had some gilt-edged opportunities where even before half-time, they could have been 2-0 up. Now, I'll run through the game as follows. So after 5 minutes, Newport took the lead. We got off to the worst possible start. Before that, Sean Longstaff was very wasteful. He put one over the crossbar. Jacob Murphy was a threat, but we knew Newport would have that attack and threat going forward in terms of Abrahams, and we knew about him. We knew he was their best player. And it was some good work by Newport. They put a ball, they played the ball really well. They had a shot and it hit the crossbar. You could argue, should Mark Gillespie get to it? Maybe so. It bounced off the crossbar nicely for Abrahams just outside the box. He took a touch and he smacked it beyond Mark Gillespie before he could react. And listen, it's 1-0 Newport. Do they deserve it? Well, it doesn't really matter. We're 1-0 down, and that should have been the kick up the arse. And Newport, we knew what they were going to offer. We knew their attack and threat, and we didn't listen. And I think the defence, for me, are at fault for it. For the original shot that hit the crossbar, they're not even reacting for Abrahams. They're not even getting close. You could blame Mark Gillespie, but I don't want to, because I feel like he tried, for the original effort which hit the crossbar. But then with the defence have got to react. This has been our problem in the last few matches. We're not reacting to crosses. And had that been like a Burnley on Saturday or another side, let's be honest, we're probably further behind. And then we started to lift the spirits a little bit. On 11 minutes, Jacob Murphy, he fires at the Newport keeper and he has to tip over the crossbar. Jacob Murphy, you'll see a rhythm as he was the better player on the day. On 15 minutes, Shelby picks up a needless yellow card. It was a bit of a mistimed sliding tackle. Some people on Twitter were saying a red. I think a yellow is probably about right looking back at it. 21 minutes, Jacob Murphy, he tests the goalkeeper as well with an effort. Dolan, he has a shot which goes wide from a free kick. Could have went in. Defence again switching off. On 43 minutes, he puts a shot just right. That's Jacob Murphy of the left-hand post. He could easily have put that in the back of the net. And then just going into the stoppage time, there was 3 minutes and Newport come very, very close when a ball goes into the box. It picks up a Newport player who's unmarked inside the box and he somehow skies it over the crossbar. For me, he's got all the time in the world to make that 2-0. Had that been the goal scored by Newport, had they made it 2-0, then it could have been more difficult for us to get back into the game. It could have went anywhere really in terms of how many goals Newport could have had. We could have mentally switched off for the second half. And going into the second half, 47 minutes, Jacob Murphy again a threat on that right hand side. He has a shot which he volleys and it goes for a corner. Their centre back for Newport has to get in the way of it. And then Fraser, right, he was put through on goal. And fair play to the Newport keeper for reacting, but I have to say he has to put that in the back of the net, Ryan Fraser. And then as he saves, it rebounds to Miguel Almiron, who's following up, and it's another save by the keeper. So fair play to the Newport keeper, but I think Fraser should put that in the back of the net, in my personal opinion. And then I say around the 55th minute, the 57th minute, around that point, Steve Bruce needs to ring the changes because Newport, yes, they're not really doing too much at the start of the second half. We're creating stuff. Murphy's a threat, but why can't we bring on the likes of Fabian Schär? I was thinking Jeff Hendrick, possibly Joe Linton and Callum Wilson, and he does make those changes on 60 minutes. Steve Bruce with half an hour to go, he twists and he takes off Andy Carroll and Miggy, who I thought both were very poor on the evening. I don't think they really offered too much of a threat. And Joe Linton and Callum Wilson come on, and I think from there we just go for it. We're looking to try and get that equaliser. Second half, I think we were much better in terms of an attack and threat, but just in the final third, missing those key chances up until the end. So on 70 minutes, Kraft, he also goes off because the game's sort of petering out a little bit towards Newport. Schär comes on for the first time in ages, so it's good to see him back. On 75 minutes, Jacob Murphy, he receives the ball, he fires wide of the left-hand post, so very close there to making it 1-1 after 75 minutes. And then on 80 minutes, Joe Linton goes on the counter-attack. He plays in Ryan Fraser again, and he's tackled at the last minute. I think for me, he should try and pull the trigger. If he does, he potentially puts that past the keeper, and it should be 1-1. The amount of times I've said it should have been 1-1. And then on 87 minutes, Shelby scores an absolute rocket from our left-hand side. He just picks up the ball from inside the box, kind of goes out, takes a couple of touches, and then he works his way into the box, and he just lets one rip, and it goes into the top right-hand corner past the keeper. It's a great effort, and let's be honest, Shelby was poor on the night, but he saved our arses. He really did. If he hadn't have scored that, then it could have been embarrassing. We could have been knocked out of the Carabao Cup, and with only 3 minutes left to go of play, we'll get it back to 1-1. We deserve it, let's be honest. We should easily be 2-3-1 up at that point. You could say maybe 3-2 because Newport had that big chance before half-time or just on half-time. And then we had a few shots as well where Murphy, he goes wide. We'll have a few cleared off the line. And then it goes to the dreaded penalty shootout. It finishes Newport 1, Newcastle 1 after full time. And I'm like that. I'm like, I can't believe that we've got this depends. With the side that we've got, we should have enough to see these off. I knew it wasn't going to be an easy game. But anyway, we're going to the penalty shootout. Joe Linton, he misses our second penalty in. So Newport have already got the advantage. But then we'll go through the game. Gillespie saves. And then we're kind of going to the sudden death. And then Newcastle United, they go through 5-4 on penalties. So we're through. I'm happy. My man of the match has to be Jacob Murphy. I thought he was the best player on the park tonight. But I have to say the improvement needs to be there. We need to sort it out at the back. We need to keep attacking. We need to be working on our chances in that final third because it's still letting us down big time. And I have to say on another day, we could have been knocked out of the Carabao Cup. I thought Newport played very well. They should be very proud of themselves for where they are in League 2. They took it right to the death. They'll be gutted that they conceded, on the 87th minute, but that's football. When you're playing up against a Premier League side, we're always going to have that chance. We're always going to have that attack where we'll punish a shaky defence. And I thought Newport, they just sat back. They were looking for that 1-0 win. And when you do that, it's often dangerous. And fair play to Shelby. We'll finally take the initiative and we'll get back into the game. And you could just see Newport were tiring. But let's be fair, they did have chances there. Ambition second half was to hit one the counter-attack, let the gaps open and see where they go from there. But listen, I'm glad we've got through, because it could have been another Stevenage all over again, had we lost it 1-0. And had Newport got that second goal, I wouldn't have known what would happen second half. So I'm happy. Yes, there was a lot of Steve Bruce haters out there getting some pelters, and they're surely justified. How much more can we deal with Steve Bruce? For me, I think he's got to Burnley. If we don't rectify it against Burnley, then for me, I think he has to go. Sounds harsh, but listen, he's been saved. His bacon has been saved by the penalty shootout in John Joe Shelby. So let me know what you think. Newcastle through to the Carabao Cup quarter-finals. I don't know who will play yet. I'm sure I'll announce it in the Burnley preview tomorrow. But make sure you subscribe, you hit the like button, you turn on the notification bell, and let me know who your man of the match was. Follow me on social media, Toon TV, and I'll see you all later. Keep it tuned.